What can we do with a spaghetti box? Well, I'm here to show you something. I actually have made 2 tags and I have prototypes. But first, our Bible verse of the day is Proverbs 19 verse 11. Sensible people control their temper. They earn respect by overlooking wrongs. Grace. So control your temper, give grace to yourself and others. That is today's message. Now, spaghetti box. If you notice, this one has a window. So I know there are all different kinds of packaging for spaghetti, but we had spaghetti last night. So I thought, wait a minute. What can we do with junk in our junk journal? This should be easy enough for a beginner, as well as you could do it as a seasoned junk journaler by adding a few touches. Here's what I mean. Let's set the box aside. Okay, these are the 2 tags that I made with one spaghetti box. The first one, I used the window, as you can tell, and it's writing space on the inside. You could also make the back writing space. Well, frankly, you could write on this one. It all depends on what you want to do. When you look through mine, you will see some of the writing once someone writes in there. But it's a double tag. And you could just put this over a journaling page or down in a pocket. Now, technically, you could glue this down and it would be, a flip out. But you see how this one has sewing? I'm not going to, this is prototype, and I'm not going to sew with what I'm showing you how to do. That's why I say it could be for beginners as well, because maybe you don't have a sewing machine, maybe you don't know how to use a sewing machine. I'm going to show you how to do it without sewing. But in the end, if you want to sew, just go around everything with your sewing machine. So there's the first one. Now, out of the same packaging, I did a second one. Now, you could make even more journal space by simply gluing a piece of coffee dyed paper here, or notebook paper, anything. I left it like this. Now, this one, same thing. You could glue this down, or maybe put some more of this coffee dyed paper down and make it as yet another journaling spot. Totally up to you. But we have 2 adorable tags. So let's jump in and I'll show you how to make these. So I have this box. What you want to do is open it up so it will lay flat. So you open the end, and then there is a spot somewhere where it comes together. And if you look inside, you can kind of see. And that's where we're just going to open it up. Ooh, there we go. Now, I have a pre-cut tag. You could use a pre-cut tag or just do this freehand. What I want to do is I want to kind of put the tag right about there over this window, like that. And I'm just going to grab a pencil and trace around it. So see, you could do this freehand. I'm not good at doing that. So you just make a tag ahead of time, whatever size that you want, and just trace around it. I guess we don't really need to trace around the whole thing, because what we're going to do is we're now going to move this right next door. And we're going to use this natural fold line here as the fold for these 2. So I'm setting this to the left of that fold, not directly on it. And I'm just lining it up at the bottom here. And I'm going to trace again. Like I said, we don't need to trace that middle line. All right, there we are. And now all we have to do is cut right along our lines. And this is where I say, see, if you are good at drawing freehand, you could just do this freehand. Now I am going to get rid of this piece here into the recycle. Has any of you already used a spaghetti box to make something? If so, what did you make? There we go. So we have the base of our tag. Oh, no, we don't. Right up here. We have to cut right along that line. There we go. Now we have the base of our tag, see? And it's okay that that fold is there. We're not going to use it, but it'll be fixed. This is what we'll make our second tag out of. I'm going to use that exact same tag base. And I'm just going to set it right about there. And I'm going to trace around it. And then I'm going to come next door here again. We're going to use that fold. So we're now lining up the top lines here. And then just trace it again over on this side. There we go. We don't need this anymore. So we'll come over here and we're just going to cut at all those lines again. Okay, now the bottom is wonky, right? Well, that for me is easy enough. I'll just come in here and chop it off at a straight line. All these pieces I'm going to recycle, get them off the desk so that we're not looking at them. And then there is a tiny piece of shiny stuff here. I'm just going to throw that away. So now we have our second tag base, 1 and 2. All right, so let's work with this one first. Grab some scrap paper. I am going to see if this, no, that's not big enough. Something that's big enough that it might cover this. How about that? No. Oh, wow. Let me see here. You might have to get a full book page. Well, I do have this. It is just old ledger paper that a friend sent to me. And she did some, I don't know if that's stenciling or what. So I think we'll use that. I'm going to turn it over. And here's what we're going to do. Now, if you're going to sew, then you don't have to be as thorough with glue. But if you're not going to sew, you're going to want to make sure you get glue absolutely everywhere. And that's what I'm going to do. Focus really on the edges because you do want this to stay down. And you could use any glue. I'm just using this stick glue. Now, we're coming to this window. Do not get glue on this window. Try really hard to just go right around the edges of the window. All the way around it. Because we don't want our paper to stick to that window. Now I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to lay it down there, press it. Now I'm going to turn it over. You could grab an old gift card, a brayer. No, that's not a brayer. What am I saying? Bone folder, right? Is that what that is? That's a bone folder, right? Goodness sakes. Anyway, we're just making sure there's no air bubbles, making sure that this paper is good and stuck down. And then turn it over. And we want to wait a minute because we want that to dry. So while that is drying, well, no, you know, let's not wait. Hold on. Let's just cut it out a little bit here. You could wait for it to dry and do that exact same thing on your other one. But I think that other one is going to be self-explanatory because there's no window to worry about. And we'll come in here and... Now, you don't have to use your scissors. What I mean is, you could do it... I'm going to finish this with my scissors just because I started it that way. But on my prototype, I did not use scissors. I just tore it on the edges to give it kind of that, that vibe. I don't know. Let me grab it. Do you see what I mean? I just tore it off. All right, now, it's stuck to the window, you say? No, 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 nope. Okay, I'm just gonna grab a pencil. I'm putting the lid on my glue. There we go. I'm gonna grab a pencil, and I'm gonna use my fingers and feel, where is that window? Right about there. And let's see, there it is. I'm gonna draw a line here. We can erase if we want. I'm personally going to leave it. And as you draw a line, just go back and forth and just kind of push. And we're going to do it all the way down till we feel the next edge. And then go up that other edge. And if your pencil is blunt enough, what that should do, you should be able to then come in here and rip this out. Dun, 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 dun. Now I'm going to come in with my dauber, and this is ground espresso distress oxide. And you see how you can kind of see the pencil marks? I'm just going to come in and go around the window and give it just a little bit of dark brown, and it's going to blend in that pencil mark. Kind of make it look like, what? I didn't do that. You know? And you can go as dark as you want or as light as you want. There we go. And, well, okay. Let's go around the edges as well. Now, I was going to edit this video. I still might, I don't know, while I'm making this. I just figured nobody wants to see, like, this part right here. You know, like the cutting the edges off, the using the dauber. Everybody knows how to do this. However, some people enjoy watching it. And if you're new, maybe you don't know how to do that. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Let's fold it and go around the front and back. Now, let's take something, the edge of your scissors, something kind of strong, and let's give that a good crease. And then we're going to come back. You know what I did? I think I put the numbers on upside down. We'll have to open this one this way because of the way I cut it. I just mean, you know, this one here opens this way. But that's fine because now we have one that goes each way. If this was our journal page, you know, then this one could go on the edge that way. This one would have to go on that way or in a pocket. So we're just doing this one on the other side. No big deal. Now we want to do the same thing on the inside here that we did to the outside. And I do think that I want to do the inside a little differently. You can do it the same way as we did here. Or I think with this one, I actually want to get glue all over the inside of this. Now, if you don't, let's say you don't have stick glue. Okay, just come in with your other glue. Come on. Really focus on the edges. There we go. And then I'm just going to set that down like that. Give it a good push. Get a paper towel because the glue is seeping out. And here's where I'm going to rip. I'm just going to try and rip the edges. So we have a little sticking out. There we go. And then this here, we could keep that folded over. Why not? We'll go ahead and get some glue on that. Come on, glue. There we go. Get that extra glue that seeps out there. And then my thought is I want to come in with some different pieces. So for instance, I think maybe here we'll put some of that. Maybe like up like that. So we'll go, oh my gosh, this glue. Let's go ahead and go around all the edges. Okay, and then I don't want that. So we'll go right there. And then up over here, I think that I'm going to use a piece of this book page. And maybe just go, oh, we're going to have to get, come on, goodness sakes. Maybe, like that. Okay, press all that down. And I'm just leaving this window open this time. And more scraps. What could we use? Oh, I know. This piece here from the other side could go right up next to it. So let's give this some glue. And you're just kind of collaging around that window. I'm going to go right there. And then I'm going to grab, let's see. Let's grab a little piece of that music. Ooh, how about the word world? Will that work there? Sure. This is a good project to use your scraps for. Okay, and then we need up over here. And I've got this scrap here. Maybe we could use some of that. We'll rip it off right there. And I think right about here. And I'm going to get glue on the edges. Again. And we're just going to put that little dragonfly right there. And there's an itty bitty bitty spot right there. So let's see, what words do we have? I see berry. Who cares? Maybe we'll just go right there. Now you could be inking around the edges of each piece here if you want to. I, however, obviously am not. Okay, now we're going to come over to this side. And, oh, you know, let's go ahead and rip it. Or we'll try to rip it, right? Let's see, we got to get our fingers down in there. There we go. And I think a little bit more of that needs to come off. Just my opinion. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to come in with my dauber again. And I'm going to go around the edges of this. And then I think I'll go around all of the edges here. And then I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and fold that over. And I am going to go back over the edges of this where I added that paper that's sticking out. There we go. Now you don't have to leave the edges sticking out. I just thought it would be fun. Now I do want to tear off a little bit of that. And then I'm going to make a faux line down the middle. All right. Oh my goodness, I'm loving this already. Now, if you noticed on this one, I have a bow and it goes the whole way around. So what I did was I opened it up, and well, first you have to decide where do you want your bow, and I'm thinking right about here. So in here, I'm just going to create a little hole in there, you see, and we'll grab some lightweight lace. And to get it through that hole, I'm actually going to shove it through with this cutter. There we go. Now, put the cutter away. And I want to make sure it wraps and I have enough to tie it. So, I'm thinking I'll chop it off too big. And then I'll come in here and tie a bow. I'm not good at making bows. I'm just telling you now. And that is quite all right. I'm going to shove that down there. And that down there. And then I think what we'll do, hey now, see, it doesn't want to sit where I want it. I think what we'll do is we'll just cut it off sideways there and there. Maybe I need to shove that up in there. You guys, do you have any tips on making bows? Okay, let's come in with some 3-in-1 glue or any fabric glue. And you know what? Let's force this guy to stay in place by shoving some glue in there. If you sew it, it's going to stay down because you've sewn around the edges. But I don't plan to sew this one. So the glue is what's going to have to hold it down. Okay, and then at the top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little crocodile and I'm going to shut this. I'm going to come to the biggest hole right in the middle and I'm going to punch through both at once. And that's where up there we want to put a little bit of, lace or trim. If you notice here, I used some fun trims, but we could do our decorating first. Now, I got this trim off of this. It was something somebody had sent me, and it was held on with these pins. And when I took it off, I thought, oh, you know what? What if we use this as decoration? We could put it right down there in the middle. And, oh, there's a bird. Can you see the bird sticking out? Isn't that adorable? So since I think that's the right place. Yeah, let's glue this down on the inside. I'm just gonna get my stick glue and well, I shouldn't have moved it, but I want to get glue all over this. So there we are. There we go. And then what I'll do is I'll hold it up to the window and see where I want it. About there, and then close it. That should get it where we want it. And then, let's make it straight. Oh boy. There we go. Cute. Now, up front, what should we do? You know, I've got a few little pieces of, I guess you call it fibers, or, you know, it's just leftover scrap fabric. We could use some of that. I do have this little scrap piece of flour. Oh, it's sticking to my fingers, you guys. Let's use this, but before we do, let's go ahead and ink around the edges. Why not? And maybe that could go up there. Yeah, let's do that. Boy, I'm getting glue everywhere. Right about like that. And then, should we use some of this fabric on here? Let's do it. So I'm just gonna, I don't want to think too much. I'm gonna grab my fabric glue and get a plop down there and put that on. Oh, I hear the dog says, "Excuse me, are you letting me in or am I staying out all day?" I knew when I started this video, at some point she'd want in. Okay, so we have the fabric down, and now I have this here. It was a stamp on a scrap that I just tore out. Let's use that. And actually, I'm seeing here a little label. Let's do a label first. Oh my gosh, I should have thought of that ahead. I'm literally just pulling scraps that have been sitting on my desk in order to decorate this. So we'll put it sideways and that one straight up and down. Okay, I'm gonna get a paper towel and just squish that down and hopefully it grabs that extra glue. Yeah. Looking cute. And then I do like the inside so far. We need to put our lid on our glue. Don't forget when you're crafting a way to put lid on glue, because if you forget, it will dry out. Let's cut this in half because this is all I've got left. I love this lace. I'm sad to be using it up. And let's do the lark's head knot. We'll go fold it in half and stick it in the middle. And we're going to pull it through the other side. You might have to wash the glue off your fingers, Dawn. Okay, we pull it through the other side. Put the two pieces in the loop and pull. And then let's go ahead and do the exact same thing here on this back side. Okay, we have a loop. We're going to put these two through it and pull. There we go. Oh my gosh. I think it's so cute. And then what I did was I went ahead and I used, you can use any circle punch you've got. Grab a scrap piece of paper. I just used that. And I punched out a circle. And I grabbed a bulb pin. And I'm just, and I made a hole in my circle. And I'm just gonna attach this, I'm gonna try, to the lace right here. Again, you can decorate this however you want. But I think that that is almost done. I think maybe we need something pretty over here. How about, I've got a butterfly sitting next to me if I can pick it up. Yeah, and I have this little label. We could do something like that. Yeah, let's do it. All right, because we're doing it on lace, we do need to use some fabric glue. Now, I don't know if you noticed or not. In one of my latest videos, I showed you can get some fabric glue at the Dollar Tree. I'll show it to you. Let's squish that and grab the glue. Here it is. Liquid adhesive, quick and easy, bonds to most material. So, and it's not a big jug, whatever, but it is an option, a cheap option for you. I think that's cute, but I'm now thinking that needs a little word sentiment. Well, we've got world over here. I didn't plan this part ahead. How about, since that says world, we could do discover. No, it's the wrong colors. Let's see. These are tiny. She remembered it was something precious. Ooh, together we will sit and rest. I like that one. Now I am going to give this a little extra glue to ensure it stays, because my friends, oftentimes things that I want glued down or to stick down when they already have sticky on them, they don't stay for some reason. Together we will sit and rest. Oh, how fun it would be for all of us to be together in person and sit together and rest and craft and create and just enjoy each other's company. So there we have it. Now, with this one, I would do the same thing. Cover it with, say music paper, book page, and then just go ahead and decorate it. And you've got 2 tags from a spaghetti box. So what did we do? This is yesterday's that I played with. This is today's that we did together. They both open up. This one has writing space here. So maybe I need to create, oh look, there's writing space here already. Yay! All right, and that is the one that I did with the smaller piece. And this tiny little circle here, you know what I actually did? I took the tip of a glue bottle and I traced around it and then cut around it. And I just did one little tiny stamp. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for being here. And I hope you enjoyed this. I'm thinking, let me know what you think, but I think we ought to collect our tissue Kleenex box and come back and do something with a Kleenex box very soon, like really soon. So that'll be a goal of mine. Use up the tissues. Bye, guys.